Hey there, folks. I'm Mark, in affiliation with Spectrum Pulse, and it's a Lil Durk album bomb week, cause it's Billboard Breakdown. I don't remember. So I've said before that not all album bomb weeks are bad. Yeah, the ones that fall just shy of my arbitrary boundary with a bunch of other new arrivals, they can be a lot of work, or those who break past and land all in the top 40, hi Drake, or those that just simply suck. See my previous comment. But when the Hot 100 has become increasingly stagnant over the past month or so, and we get not just Lil Durk delivering a reasonably sized and placed album bomb alongside a few other, let's say, interesting songs. Okay, look, it's not ideal, but it might actually be better in the long run. Just saying. But of course, it doesn't impact our top 10, where for 3 weeks too long, Heat Waves by Glass Animal squats at the number 1. And let's make this very clear, any tangible competition would knock this off given that it's down in every category, but it's got enough of a margin, especially on the radio, and that's why it's been able to hold over the sudden radio revival of Stay by the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber at number 2, because apparently we weren't all sick of this last year. It actually leaped past Super Gremlin by Kodak Black at number 3, basically here on streaming and because the radio stalled out, and ABCDEFU by Gale at number 4, which hit a sharp peak in the radio and is somehow losing faster than Heat Waves is. Now granted, it looks like folks are finally getting sick of We Don't Talk About Bruno by the Encanto cast down at number 5 as the streaming starts to ebb away, but that's now holding up against Ghost by Justin Bieber at number 6, which is basically spending the week wavering on the radio, and that was able to hold up over Easy on Me by Adele down to number 7, which is just outright losing there. Unfortunately, this opens a door for a new top 10 entry, Enemy by Imagine Dragons and JID, which has enough strength in every category that it looks like it's gonna be a proper hit, and if you want a testament to 2022 and the Hot 100, it might be the success of this song. That being said, That's What I Want by Lil Nas X picked up a slot to number 9 thanks to its radio being reasonably solid, and it overtook Bad Habits by Ed Sheeran at number 10, which is basically playing a radio/streaming margins game to hold up over Shivers here. Kind of bizarre, I know. And near to that subject are Losers and Dropouts. And where in the latter case, I gotta be honest, I'm not really about to complain all that much. Yeah, we had quite a few major dropouts, but they nearly all clinched the year-end list here. Essence by WizKid and Thames, I'm not dignifying the Justin Bieber remix. You Should Probably Leave by Chris Stapleton, handily clinching its year-end list spot. One Mississippi by Kane Brown, likely just being short. Kind of a pity, it grew on me. Meet Me at Our Spot by The Anxiety, and Oh My God by Adele. Again, it still was a very tangible hit, but it feels like it should have been bigger. I'm just gonna keep on repeating that. And as expected, we did get a lot of losers, but not really a surprising or overwhelming week here. Off the debut, Bam Bam by Camila Cabello and Ed Sheeran collapsed to 39, and gains from last week like Slow Down Summer by Thomas Rhett at 62, Rockin' a Cardigan in Atlanta by Lil Shorty Scott to 94, and especially I'm Tired by Labyrinth and Zendaya hit 92. But then we got the continued losers like Nail Tech by Jack Harlow at 68, or Smoking Out the Window by Silk Sonic at 80. Year-end list is locked up, I'm okay with it having a graceful exit. Half of My Hometown by Kelsey Ballerini and Kenny Chesney at 88, which doesn't have nearly enough points. I want this to do better. And Waiting on a Miracle by Stephanie Beatrice at 97. But speaking of the Encanto losses, The Family Madrigal by The Cast slid down to 44. What Else Can I Do by Diane Guerrero and Stephanie Beatrice at 67. And Dos Oruguitas by Sebastian Yatra hit 72. Now as for the rest, well, I Hate Young Boy by Young Boy Never Broke Again lived up to its title again at 98. By Your Side by Rod Wave slid to 96. Bankin' on Me by Gunna hit 90. Pressure by Ari Lennox hit 84. Sacrifice by The Weeknd hit 79. You can argue the song really underperformed, but likely it just got cannibalized by The Weeknd's other bigger hits. Do We Have a Problem by Nicki Minaj and Lil Babies at 66. She's All I Wanna Be by Tate McRae at 59. And Sand in My Boots by Morgan Wallen's at 44. It's on track to make the year-end list for 2022. That's gonna make for some fun discourse in December, let me say that. But speaking of him, our returns and gains, where in the former category, he's tied to pretty much half of them, with Flower Shops by Ernest getting a boost from the album to 78, and Broadway Girls by Lil Durk up to 43, although that's likely more on the album bomb that saw a surge for Aha to 18. Unfortunately, the one new debut that did see a gain was Handsomer by Russ and Caitlyn at 40. I'd rather prefer this does not become a hit this year, but I get the disturbing feeling that it very well could happen. But thankfully, the only return this week was also tied to Lil Durk's album bomb to inch back at 95, but now let's talk about that. There's the songs that are outside the top 40 that are neither the best nor the worst of this week. Federal Nightmares at 85, Differences with Summer Walker at 73, Blocklist at 69, Grow Up, Keep It On Speakers at 65, very nearly a winner with this one of the best from the album, Smoking and Thinking at 60, Headtaps at 58, Started From at 55, Shootout at My Crib at 53, and Barbarian at 48. Another really good one alongside with Smokin' and Thinkin'. Check it out, it's a good song. Alright, so that makes things a little bit more manageable here. But unfortunately, we gotta start with number 93, Bones by Imagine Dragons. You know, I've called Imagine Dragons a silent majority act before, and at this point, before the radio machine moves in behind them, it's kind of hard to explain their career still moving in 2022 when they can still chart tangible hits. Because with this, I mean, come on, what the hell is Dan Reynolds even doing contorting his vocals into his screechiest register yet with this gutless guitar, warping bass, and stomping percussion? Where's the instrumental melody? Why does this feel like the second coming of Believer? And holy shit, that might be the reason why it's picking up traction. And why are the drums the only thing that sound remotely impressive here? And even then, that's pushing it? And then when we get to the content, okay, I might be able to understand Dan Reynolds' point that this is him brooding about the finality of death and his persistence to fight and live on against it. But I think the most telling line here is in the pre-chorus. My patience is waning, is this entertaining? Whereas might as well be meta-commentary with Imagine Dragons asking what the hell we as the audience even want. But I gotta say the answer to that is pretty straightforward. Even if the production from Alex da Kid dates it, Night Visions was a really good debut album. It had character and melody, some actual organic presence, and it sounded at least like they were having fun. This is just tired, screaming of a lack of real ideas. And wow, that's obvious. Next, number 46, Something in the Way by Nirvana.
Something in the way, yeah.
Okay, so remember when Dreams charted because of the TikTok memes in fall of 2020, and I wasn't really about to complain because the song's a classic? This is in a similar situation, where a deep cut from Nirvana's Nevermind got traction, the last song on the album, not counting the hidden bonus song. And okay, I'm not gonna deny that the song works for what it is, a brooding moment of vagrancy where Kurt Cobain imagines living as a sick homeless man that many fans have extrapolated to a very specific bridge where Kurt Cobain used to visit as a teenager. It's a very spare, borderline skeletal song with its fragile acoustics, its touches of cello and bass as Kurt Cobain croons around through it. More of a wallow of a song than anything where even he seems to build some separation with his Kurt yeahs on the hook. And yet, well, I get why this worked at its time. It's not really a go-to for me out of Nirvana's catalog, mostly for a lot of small nitpicks. Butch Vig's production's a little bit too clean, I'm an in utero guy there. The song feels a little lacking in detail in the repeated verse and chorus. It is low-key to the point where you wonder outside of 1992 and Kurt Cobain's cult of personality whether this would have worked at all, where in some live settings Cobain would switch out a verse for something way nastier and self-flagellating in the face of taking the piss out of rock star success. So okay, yeah, it's good, and it's cool that it's charting for a bit, but I'm also not going to revisit this that much. Just saying. But while we're on that topic, number 37, Thinking With My Dick by Kevin Gates featuring Juicy J.
Ain't too pretty in the face, but she's super thick. I'm just thinking with my dick.
Whereas on the other side of what TikTok's blown up, we have an album cut from Kevin Gates' 2013 album that opens up its hook with a slur. I mean, I get why this went viral, but if you want southern bangers that sound this incredibly dated to the specific era in 2013, 2014, there are other options beyond this brand of ass anthem. Now, credit to Kevin Gates, the production actually does have some bounce to it, especially in the bass line with the gang vocals. I could see this working in a strip club, but Kevin Gates has always had the problem of saying the quiet part really way too loud, so outright saying the girl is ugly but she's got a fat ass and that's enough is not exactly endearing when you follow it up with lines like stop, pop, and squat like a zipper, that his dick is trying to kill her, and then calling her a one-hit wonder. And speaking of awful lines, Juicy J is here, where he's picking up both your girl and her friend and then playing the stupid lesbian reference, saying the girl swallow nut like an elephant and like a dentist with a drill, I be digging in their mouth. And look, it's not like I'm surprised or scandalized by this. I was reviewing this style of hip-hop back in 2013. The method of going so stupid that it spins around to being funny in an over-the-top way. It was dime a dozen out of this era. I honestly could have picked up on it faster. And you know what, Kevin Gates is a guy to throw some meat to it. But again, that's kind of the point. Once you get past the groove, the dated flagrance of it all feels less unique and more a sharp reminder why neither of these guys kept much charting momentum coming out of this era. Please, I'm not sure any of us are ready for nostalgia for 2013 to happen. Let's move on. Number 34, Golden Child by Lil Durk.
Coke, remember? Fuck hoes to Bryce and Tiller. Make free codes, bite the pillow. I cut coke for dealers. If he got more bodies than you can't look bro the nigga.
Gotta be honest, I'm a little bit shocked that this is a song that blew up from the album bomb, especially this high. Yeah, the trap percussion might sound pretty sharp against the eerie synths, but Lil Durk's down-tempo gangland sneering might be a little bit more accessible as he flexes and fucks. But what might be more interesting is how he calls out a lot of internet reporting types who did their documentaries on the violence in Chicago that the feds later used to target the city, and specifically DJ Vlad, because Vlad's a well-known informant for the police, and no aspiring rapper involved in less than legal activity should ever talk to him. This should be well known at this point. Maybe the call-out's why this got traction, but otherwise it's not especially that good. The doo-doo line, how Lil Durk is clumsy at best in any reference to women, or just how the song doesn't have a hook separating its verses. It feels like it was stitched together rather than delivered with more structure, so okay, while it's not bad, it's not that good either. Number 30, No Interviews by Lil Durk.
Tryna get turned up. I just took 3 drugs, tryna get turned up. I just took 4 drugs, tryna get turned up.
Maybe they were just picking songs that went in on this segment of the album. But you know what, to be fair, this is a song that's got more flow, melody, and an actual hook off that sharper drill hi-hat, the bass rumble, the twinkling pianos, and gentle touches of guitar. Honestly, I actually think the production is really elegant and really quite potent here. Kind of a shame that Lil Durk can't do much more with it. Yeah, the hook's catchy, but building off a verse where he's trying to kick his addictions and go straight, some of the most consistent subtext of this album, it just feels kind of out of place and not in the best of taste to go for this style of hook. That's arguably the most frustrating thing with Lil Durk here and on the album at large. He'll have interesting bars and ideas like giving a side-eye to rappers wearing MAGA hats. This is expected to be about Kodak Black after he got pardoned, or the street-level violence where he's trying to find some escape after all the friends that he's lost, all the friends and family. But when you pair it next to a bunch of generic flexes and references to women that feel so goddamn clunky and lacking a stronger through line, where it makes you wonder what Lil Durk might even be wanting or trying to do. Again, the production's good, but everything else, yeah, it should be better. Number 26, Petty 2 by Lil Durk featuring Future.
Bitch, I'm petty too. Bitch, you petty, bitch, I'm petty too. Bitch, you petty, bitch, I'm petty too.
You know, I was really close to getting on board with this one, because the synth-inflected trap groove is surprisingly sticky, and Lil Durk's verse starts out pretty fine, especially for someone I think is pretty bad with his sexual content. He might share his girls around, he doesn't sound like he's much in the way for commitments, but he's explicitly sounding like he is not petty with women. But then the hook just sucks all the energy out of the room, where he admits that, yeah, okay, of course he's petty too, and while that might fit with Future's utterly disposable verse. It's a heel turn mid-song for absolutely no reason. Now, it might be true, given that both Lil Durk and Future have more kids and baby moms than they probably should, or likely will be able to afford long term, but it's a really sour note that doesn't quite help the album or the song. Shame again, because the production's actually really good. Song's not quite there though. Number 24, What Happened to Virgil by Lil Durk featuring Gunna.
You let him come kill you, my brother, that shit was a tragedy. But magically I got the strategy, I was so sick and tired of niggas keep asking me who was the killers between the hood. Bro, I'm a king, that mean we good.
And of course it would be the song with Gunna that gets Lil Durk his biggest debut this week. Hell, you want the true testament of where the charts are in 2022? Is that this non-personality is racking up the success. And Gunna really is the problem with the song, because outside of the fact the one hook comes in at the very beginning and never returns, but his flow is noticeably simpler, he goes more to flexing, and the references to Virgil feel more scattered and less personal, and I'm sorry, he just can't match Lil Durk's energy or raw vulnerability. Now, I'm not saying Durk is great here either, because he's not. The vulnerable moments are interspersed with the expected drug abuse, fucking, references to loving the streets even despite the amount of bloodshed. The ideas barely flow together, and it does not help the atmosphere that the production's doing one hell of a job creating. Yeah, the one big positive I will give this is that the piano just sounds immaculate behind some really crisp trap and drill percussion. It's set up to build a lot of emotive swell, pay off all the angst, and nobody's stepping up effectively to work with it. I don't know, maybe if the hook one more time it might have clicked better, but as it is, it's too slapdash to come together. I wanted to like this more. And finally, number 15, Sweetest Pie by Megan Thee Stallion and Dua Lipa.
Your sweetest pie. Ooh, baby, we can go fast. I'll drive and you just lay back. I got the flavor, the less. Yeah, the sweetest pie.
And now, it's the big one. The collab that I think all of us were praying would make the top 10 on name recognition alone. And yet, after having heard it, I kind of get why it didn't quite get there. I mean, call it expectations that were just too high, or a fact that I've never been a fan of extended food metaphors when it comes to sex, or the fact that Megan was apparently responsible for picking this beat, and that's not good because Megan Thee Stallion's production's been consistently one of the most frustrating parts of her career. But I'm more lukewarm on this than outright loving it. Yeah, they've got good chemistry with each other, and both of them are capable of making this sound really sexy. And to be fair, with the well-balanced, liquid, fluttery, new disco gloss behind the trap groove, it's a good fit for the both of them, but it never gets to another level with more melodic flair or a stronger hook. It also feels a little obvious, a little bit dated, a little overly busy with all the trap elements. Honestly, just kind of reminds me of Hot Girl Summer from 2019, a song that I do like, but should have been a lot better than it was. Overall, I'm just left thinking that maybe Dua Lipa could have picked the beat instead. Might have been a better song, but I gotta say it, I think it's probably the best song of the week here. Honorable mentions going to Nirvana with Something in the Way. Okay, call it heresy all you want, but I like my Nirvana songs a little bit more bite and intensity. Not quite vibing as much with this one here. Although, Grow Up, Keep It on the Speakers by Lil Durk, really damn close. I really like the change up there and the production's really nifty. Now, worst of the week falls out quite quickly. That's Bones by Imagine Dragon, with dishonorable mention going to Thinking With My Dick by Kevin Gates and Juicy J. It missed the worst spot by a hair thanks to the production. Low goddamn bar. Next week, though, The Fallout, so stay tuned for that. But until then, I'm Mark. You're watching Billboard Breakdown, affiliated with Spectrum Pulse. And I'll see you next time.